You are not applauding for me. Please welcome back D.W. Waterston.
Thanks so much, guys. And here is Deborah Jacobs, Noah DeBerto, Thomas Olajide, and Kwashi Rotendo.
Oh yeah,
Thanks so much,
stand up
guys.
if you want to.
Thanks, everyone. As you know, filmmaking is a labor, so it's very lovely to have the reception back. And I also just want to acknowledge we have a lot of our crew in the room tonight, and we couldn't have done it without you. You're incredible, and truly, like, I know a lot of filmmakers like, the crew, but like, truly, we could not have done it without the fantastic people who saw the vision, who felt the passion, and bent over backwards to make it happen. So thank you.
I just wanted to add that this was a 17-day shoot, so the crew worked very, very, very hard.
And of course, the cheerleaders, Cheer Fusion. We've been together for 5 years, working on this together, and it's been such a collaboration, and I definitely feel like we're family now, so it's a pretty special moment for us to be celebrating here.
Oh, it's special for, I mean, honestly, this movie blows the roof off the place every, like, okay, twice, but every time.
Two times is good.
There's one more comment, tell your friends. We knew about this when the press releases came out that this was happening, and that was February, March. And someone, I had just been named Canadian Programmer, I was quietly freaking out about all of it, and someone quietly reached out and said, it's gonna be ready. And I'm like, how?
I don't even know myself.
I know.
And I was a part of the whole thing.
So, the 17-day shoot is one thing, but obviously, as you said, you worked with them for 5 years, you've been working on this consistently with assembling teams. And well, let's start from the beginning. I mean, when you realized this was the movie, I know the answer, and I hate doing this, but let's talk about the skill set that you both brought to this collaboration, because there's like superpowers running around here.
We started working 5 years ago. Devry and I and Alona, our producer, and Thomas met at a film institute together. We created kind of like a proof of concept. I feel like when you hear cheerleading film, you're automatically thinking polish and camp and fun and sparkles, but you know, nobody was thinking the grueling task of the effect on the body, and you know, these cheerleaders are superhuman. So we did a proof of concept to kind of show the tone and the angle we wanted to see.
That was 5 years ago, and it was actually in a car on the way to TIFF. We were sharing a taxi, and you had talked about wanting to create a really gritty cheerleading film, and you said, I'd love for you to be in it, and I was just like, that's funny because I used to be a provincial champion gymnast.
Provincial champion. Underline.
Back in the day, though, like very far back in the day. So it was definitely a lot of preparation leading up to this. But we wouldn't be able to do it without the support of the cheer community, and specifically Cheer Fusion All-Stars.
Period.
Yeah, and it is, there was a moment where we were watching an early, like, it was finished, but there's that one shot at the very end where you do terrifying things with air. And Kelly Bissell's my fellow Canadian programmer, we looked at each other and went, they don't have the money to put her head on someone else's body. That's real.
No, we didn't.
And all of it, like, I mean, you let's talk about the safety, the training, and all the ways that you made sure that a film this small and this fast would be safe, like that everyone could make this movie both physically and emotionally. Because, I mean, Debbie, the camera's in your face 3/4 of the time, and you are doing
It's
stuff.
a good face.
Is it? Oh, God. Yeah, we're trying to, like, we were hoping we could get it in the IMAX room, so it'd be like,
That would
Can
be
we please do that?
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be a
the-
big face.
Yeah, and that's that's like the poster, bring the anxiety. But it is an incredible performance. You're doing, well, we talked about this, so I wrote about this, that you are doing stuff that we have seen you do variations on character, vulnerability, strength, trauma, fear, love. Sometimes, like, there's 3 of those in your eyes at once in this movie. This is it's just like the acknowledgement of I mean, we're watching someone learn to admit that they're vulnerable, because they're vulnerable all the time, but she won't admit it. And then finally, this is just about her figuring that out and coming out the other side. And it's glorious and cathartic, and it's set to Dexy's Midnight Runners. But in 17 days, nobody went down, nobody got hurt. There's
Nobody went down.
So how, emotionally or physically, how did you all do, like all of you, because you're all doing stuff, how did you get through it all and together?
We, in the casting process, wanted to make sure that we were highlighting actual cheerleaders and dancers and gymnasts, and working with teams, it's a team sport through and through, similar to filmmaking, and so we have to be able to lean on each other. So there was immediately that trust built in there, and then slotting a few of us in, people like Noah DeBerta, who played Rachel.
Incredible athlete.
And also former cheer captain of her cheerleading team, Kuda Kwasha Rutendo, who is a TIFF Rising Star this year. But it was a lot of planning. It was a lot of making sure that we were safe going into it, taking breaks. The final oneer that you see over the song "Come On Eileen," a lot of things had to fall into place where we choreographed it with our team. None of the actors got hurt. We did have a crew member go down at one point while I was oddly doing backflips and he was holding the camera. But it was obviously indie film with a lot of challenges, and so you choreographed the oneer at the end, and what you saw on screen was our 12th take of that.
And we did that in 4 hours with a lunch break and lots of Red Bull.
But it's not just the physical stuff, it's the emotional stuff. I mean, you get to, somebody described that role as the color, where you just get to pop in, get a laugh, and then run away and like lurk in the back to pop up again and get it. Because we watch, my eye follows you the second time through. It's just like, what was she up to? Is that a different skill? Like that kind of timing is, I keep thinking like DW's a DJ, there's a musicality to the way it works. Did you sort of, do you choreograph the laughs on screen too in the blocking?
I think so, and actually a lot of the things were improvised, which is really sick. DW was amazing in taking all of our ideas and using them in the film regardless. And I mentioned this before, but everybody is actually their own character. Like obviously not 100%, but a lot of us, the personality that we already have was into our character. So I walked in and to the callback and I was being Rachel, but I was also being Noah. And then all of a sudden on our lunch break, I would tell DW and Dev this is how I eat a Mars bar. And all of a sudden DW wanted to put it in.
I mean, it's a crazy story. We're not telling it now.
We're not telling it. But I just really appreciated that. I know we all did. And there was just a lot of help. And we always got food on set. We were always, our bodies physically, emotionally, we were in good health because of all that help. So it was really appreciated.
I was actually struck by how many times we see them eat, because they have to, right?
We never see women or young women eat food on film.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's always a salad. Seriously, watch television, you'll see a burger being placed in front of a man and a salad being in front of a woman, and it's just ridiculous. I don't know if you've met a teenager, but they're just pounding shit all the time. Especially athletes, y'all are just pounding McDonald's, and then going to practice and be like, yo, we good, and just throwing people up in the air. So, representation.
Yeah, no. I honestly, those giant bags of popcorn.
They actually sell those.
They do. They're
we
real.
learned about that. They sell those big bags of popcorn, and now it's bad that I know this.
Oh, I know. Please support our concession stand. But
buy popcorn.
But popcorn's really good. And it's just the constant acknowledgement that every single piece of this is real, or not real, but realistic, right? You're creating a heightened reality just by putting a camera there and doing stuff with it that's impossible for the human eye to do. But even the what was you said the one scene that you couldn't get away from, the one location you had to use in the real location was the bar in the village.
Yes. You can't production design gay sweat. And so I was like, we gotta be in a gay bar for that. There's a vibe, there's a smell. I really wanted that to be present. on film, especially in a queer film. Like, you can't just, throw up some sparkles in a coffee shop and call it a gay bar. So I want to make sure we're in the village for that one.
Yeah, but it's the reality they live in, the world they're moving through. Every detail is in place. And I want to talk about the emotional reality too, because I don't want to leave Thomas and Kuda out. You guys are both great.
You're just fantastic.
You're just all the way down there, and it's an island thing. But, so yeah, you're a phenomenal gymnast. You are a remarkable stage actor and screen actor. I mean, I don't know if you all saw Learn to Swim 2 years ago. But this is not that, right? Like, this is a new mode. So both of you are finding your ways into this stuff from the inside, from the outside. And again, in a really compressed shooting time. And Thomas, your character has, I think, at least 3 different facets, and there are times when we can see him turn one on and turn one off. And this is all, I'm sorry, I'm such a nerd. I love the fact that the camera catches everything. You can be really tiny in the moment, but we see it. And was there a line? Was there a point where you realized, was any one of those persona too big, too small? Did you kind of figure that out in the moment, or? Because Learn to Swim, the guy doesn't reveal anything. He's hiding pain the whole time, but he's trying not to reveal it, and so we can't help but see it. Here, he puts up a wall. Like, you've got the ability to block people out, and then the way he warms up is just so subtle and lovely.
Sorry.
Please elaborate.
It's kind of embedded in the text, really. It's hard to describe what the process is, but you have conversations with the director. I had conversations with DW and got a sense of the world through reading the text, and then you show up on the day and you get a sense again of what the world is, and then the scene between me and Devery at Devon's place, it kind of expresses itself. A lot of the environment informs the actual scene at the end of the day. So you go to set, you don't really know what's going to happen, to be honest. You have an idea of something from the script, but you're going to the set and wondering what the scene's going to be. And then you sit across from Devery, and then you look at Devery and you're like, okay, it acts itself in a way. So, and then you're in a gym, and you're in this kind of stark, kind of almost cold, win at all costs environment, and that has its own kind of expression, and so you just try to give space to that. And so when I was in that gym, it was so huge, and so that it kind of inspires a coldness, to be honest. So you just let it go.
Thomas is being very humble. We were saying that if this script had been played by any actor just reading it, that oftentimes they would maybe lean into stereotypes of what a character should be, or if anybody else were to be directing it, then it would be like, oh, maybe this person would be like a full-on drag queen, which is great, but wasn't the story that DW and I were looking for. And Thomas brought such a beautiful strength and masculinity that was rooted in queerness, and it's like, yeah.
And Kuda, you are playing like the most open-hearted character. She's honest all the time, and that conflict is innately fascinating because she can also punch through a wall if she wants to. Like this.
That is true.
Yeah, but the idea that Riley is riding on strength to disguise her vulnerability, and you don't have that problem. Like your performance is mixing openness, honesty, and strength, which becomes like its own strength in itself. So like that's a chemistry read as well for the two of you. So how did you both find it?
Honestly, I think you can't underestimate, especially as an actor, the amount of time, like having time and how that can really impact your performance. I was really fortunate. I got cast a little early, so Dev and DW and we could sit together and kind of develop that intimacy and find our characters and go back and do back histories on like their favorite movie, when they started dating and all that. And you can't underestimate the power that brings to performance. And I think the only reason I could bring what I was able to bring is because A, DW was fantastic and they were working with me the entire time, and B, that I had that time.
Yeah.
Kuda's also being humble. She's a phenomenal actor and worked very hard, and yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you.
I'm sure the audience has a couple of questions, so let's see who's got the most enthusiastic hand to go straight up. That one over there. Please, I'm going to repeat the question so everyone can hear.
So, 90% of the film is like tech music, which makes sense because you're a DJ. But why did you choose to play Come On Island on the final performance?
90% of the film is techno music because DW's a DJ, which makes sense. So why did you choose to go with Come On Eileen other than just tweaking the character, I assume?
I mean, truly, it was because of Eileen, and I think I just really liked the juxtaposition of seeing, you know, we've seen cheerleaders perform to electronic music. Electronic music is throughout the entire film, so I was like, let's do something different. And yeah, I just wanted that visual of watching these cheerleaders in a oneer in slow motion to Come On Eileen. Yeah, a bit of a different choice than electronic music, but here we are, and now the queers will reclaim this song.
Did they ever not have it?
I don't know, but they have it now.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm old. I remember when it first came out, and it felt pretty gay then. But it was in the clubs. Someone way up in the back? Yes, I see you.
Hi guys, that's Heidi. Thank you so much for the movie. Thanks for making a movie that will make it easier for all Canadians to get funding to make movies. And Pete, your shoot was 17 days. But how long was post? My mind is blown.
It wasn't long, right? I mean, we were aware of it in March, and we saw a cut in, what, July?
Yeah, so the question was, did everybody hear the question?
Oh, okay, sorry. Please.
Oh, now I, okay.
Well,
Just that you know, like what happened in post, which to be honest, I don't even know. I feel like I blacked out most of it. But yes, we shot in February. We wrapped March 4th. I took a week off to recover, and then jumped right into post-production. And, you know, kind of ended up cutting the film as well. Rhythm is so vital and important in filmmaking, and I think also being a drummer and a DJ, you know, there's a rhythm, and I think that's what we developed on set with like the characters and the emotions and the way everybody played off of one another, and also the athleticism and the performances. So I really just wanted to make sure that rhythm was in the film and to keep things moving forward. But yes, it was very fast. I finished the film 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So, you know, it's, but now we're here.
yes, right there, please.
First of all, I love Clueless musical, so yay for that song.
Yes, Legally Blonde the musical. Yes.
So sorry, yes. You said the shoot was 17 days. How long for rehearsal and the choreography and actors, like athletes that are acting, which is great because, you know, you don't have the budget to take actors and teach them all that, for God's sake. But that's two major things, a major athlete and a major character performer. So go with the rehearsal.
The question was, the question was, what did the rehearsal process look like before we started shooting?
And how long did it take? How long did you have?
The rehearsal process was nearly non-existent because of budgetary restraints, but there were, I believe, like 2 practices where we were able to learn a routine or something like that. But in terms of making sure that we weren't getting injured, we knew that Coup de Crochet wouldn't be in the final performance given the script. We worked with not only Cheer Fusion All-Stars, but also some cheerleaders from your squad, which is Western.
Western is in the house.
And then for myself, I took time out of my own schedule to make sure that I was like going to physiotherapy and acupuncture and open cheer and open gymnastics and like all of the things to make sure that my joints were protected and I could keep up with these badass athletes. But it was tight. It was very tight.
Yeah, and from like more of an acting perspective is just having meetings with all of the actors and just chatting again, like what Kuda said, you know, building backstory because that informs so much of performance. And yeah, we were just constantly all communicating and we all wanted to show up and make something amazing. So yeah, we were all kind of putting in that extra time and energy.
And it shows. Give it up one more time. Jamie Watson, and cast of Backspot. And thank you all for bringing your frankly terrifying energy here today.
And I would just want to say, you can vote for
Yes,
the People's Choice. We are available.
TIFF.net/vote. The film is up for a number of awards, but the People's Choice Award is the one that the people, that's you, get to choose. You can also tell your friends. This film, you know, it won't survive in theaters unless people know about it. Word of mouth is essential, and it's clearly working. So
please vote People's Choice if you love the film, and also anybody who's a Letterboxd nerd like I am. If you love the film, get on Letterboxd. Write something funny, but tell people what you think, because independent film, if you're not talking about it, other people won't see it. So we appreciate the love and the support, and yeah, thank you guys so much for coming today.
let him hear it one more time.